Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Podmas, our nightly Advent journey where each bottle brings a new place, a new story, and a moment to pause. I am your host, your fat friend Mark, and tonight we arrive at day 19. A little bit late tonight. I do apologize. It was a busy day, but I am live rather than pre recorded, so that's a little bit different. But as we move deeper into the season, the wines grow bolder, richer, and more introspective. Tonight's bottle reflects that perfectly. A wine shaped by altitude, sunlight, and time. We're heading to Argentina, to one of the most iconic wine regions in the world. And with that, I introduce tonight's wine Mendoza Nights, an Argentine Malbec from the legendary region of Mendoza. Malbec is a grape many people recognize, but Mendoza is where it truly found its identity. This wine is dark, expressive, and layered, built for slow evenings and thoughtful moments. What is Malbec? Let's start with the grape. Malbec originated in Bordeaux, France, where it was historically used as a blending grape. It brought color, structure, and dark fruit, but it was temperamental and difficult to grow consistently. Flavor wise, Malbec is known for ripe black fruits like blackberry and plum, warm spice, floral notes, often violet, soft but present tannins. What makes Malbec special is how dramatically it changes depending on where it's grown, and nowhere has shaped it more than Argentina. So, for those of you that don't know, Argentina is in South America, and it's down at that southern tip. We had recently a wine from Chile, which is just to the west of Argentina. Malbec arrived in Argentina in the mid 19th century, brought by French agronomist Michel Pouget. At first, it was used quietly for blending, but Argentina's environment turned out to be exactly what Malbec needed. In the 1990s, Argentine winemakers began focusing on quality over quantity, and Malbec finally stepped into the spotlight as a standalone varietal. That renaissance transformed Argentina's wine industry and made Malbec the country's flagship grape. Mendoza, which is the area in which this wine specifically comes from, sits at the foothills of the Andes Mountains, and its geography is everything. Some key factors: high altitude vineyards, often 2,000 to 4,000 feet above sea level, intense sunlight, which ripens fruit fully, cool nights, which preserve acidity, arid conditions, reducing disease pressure, and then, of course, the Andean meltwater. This is used for precise irrigation. The conditions produce Malbecs that are deeply colored, fruit forward but balanced, structured without being harsh. Mendoza doesn't just grow Malbec, it defines it. And of course, here's those mountains with some of that alpine type water or Andean water that eventually melts to help with the process. Well, let's take a moment and slow things down, and let's actually explore Mendoza Nights. I love the logo. This one's a fun one. Let's see if I can have a decent cut on this bottle tonight. If you've been following along, the last few nights have not cut very well. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need to sharpen my wine key, or maybe it's time for a new one. Hey, that was the best one I might have had so far in this series. So, on the nose, we should get intense aromas of black, ripe fruits like blackberry, black cherry, and plum. Layered with warm spices, there's a subtle touch of wood along with floral and herbal notes that gradually evolve into hints of tobacco as the wine opens. That should be interesting. On the palate, it's going to be full and rounded, rich flavors of plum and dark fruit dominate, supported by spice and a gentle red pepper note. That's interesting. We had green pepper the other night. The wine feels generous but controlled, bold without being overwhelming. Texture and structure, fine tannins give the wine shape, while vibrant acidity keeps it lively and prevents heaviness. And on the finish, long and expressive with lingering fruit, spice, and a faint savory edge that invites another sip. Well, let's give this just a second to open up a little before we huff it and see what we smell. Let's go in for one. Oh, that is a nice smell. Definitely picking up those blackberries and black cherries. I don't know about the palm. I am picking up the tobacco. That's interesting. Have not had that at all. This might be my favorite smelling wine so far of the series. Hopefully the taste follows through. It is described as full and rounded. I would absolutely agree. It feels like it's kind of just falling onto your tongue and sits there. There's a ton of flavor that is just like exploding. Um, I don't know that I'm picking up the red pepper. Um, Definitely getting those dark fruits. The plum is there. A little bit of spice. The acidity is not as vibrant as I was expecting based on their description. It's there, especially on the very back. Um, this is quite good. I'm not generally a big fan of Malbecs, um, but I will say I like this one. Let's talk about some food pairings. Mendoza Nights truly shines with food, especially bold, savory dishes. Grilled meats like steak, lamb, and pork pair perfectly. The char from the grill mirrors the wine's smoky and spicy notes. Barbecue, ribs, briskets, and pulled pork bring out the wine's fruit depth and spice. Roasted vegetables for you vegetarians, mushrooms, bell peppers, and eggplant echo the wine's herbal undertones. Cheeses. Go with your aged Gouda, cheddar, blue cheese. Balance the wine's tannins and enhance its complexity. You looking for something spicy? How about some chili, Mexican cuisine, and spice sausages work well with the wine structure, and it stands up to the heat. This is another one that goes well with your dark chocolates. It'll be surprisingly elegant, and it'll highlight the wine's subtle sweetness and depth. Well, I think it's time for a little reflection. Mendoza Nights is shaped by contrast, intense sun and cool nights, power and balance, boldness and restraint. So, tonight's reflection is this: where in your life do constraints create strength? The tension between effort and rest, ambition and patience, light and dark. Sometimes it's not balance that makes something interesting, it's the space between the extremes. Well, that brings us to the close of Podmas Day 19 with Mendoza Nights and Argentine Malbec, shaped by altitude, history, and intention. Tomorrow, we'll open another bottle and continue this Advent journey, one glass, one place, one story at a time. Until then, stay present, stay grounded, and as always, happy Podmas.